There is a specific kind of silence that happens when we think about the future of our work. It's not a peaceful silence, but rather a quiet worry. You've likely sat at your desk or looked at your tools and wondered, is the thing I've spent years learning becoming obsolete? It's a heavy question, but here is the secret that the loud, frantic headlines won't tell you. Technology doesn't usually replace people, it replaces tasks. And while that sounds like a small distinction, it is actually the key to understanding why you are far more secure than you might think. Today, we aren't going to look at the hype or the fear. We are going to look at the reality of how our daily roles are changing and why your human experience is becoming a premium asset in a world of automated answers. Before we go any deeper into the mechanics of this shift, I'd love to welcome you to the channel. I always find it fascinating to see how global this conversation is. So, where are you watching from today? Please drop your country or city in the comments below. It's truly a pleasure to have you here. Now, to understand why your job is safe but your workflow is changing, we have to look back at history. Every few decades, a new tool arrives that makes us feel small. We felt it with the steam engine, we felt it with the calculator, and we certainly felt it when the internet arrived. In each case, the fear was the same: the machine will do it all. But in each case, the result was different. We simply started doing more meaningful work. To truly understand your place in this new landscape, we need to dismantle a common myth. The myth is that a job is one single, solid block of work. In reality, your job is a collection of dozens of different tasks. Some of those tasks are creative, some are social, and some are deeply repetitive. Think about a doctor. A doctor's job isn't just curing people. It involves reading data, filling out forms, listening to patients, and making complex emotional decisions. The technology we see today is becoming incredibly good at the data and the forms, the repetitive parts. But it still struggles with the empathy and the nuanced judgment required when sitting across from a human being in pain. This is what is happening across almost every industry. The system is beginning to peel away the robotic parts of our human jobs. If your day-to-day work involves a lot of moving data from one spreadsheet to another, or summarizing long documents, those specific tasks are indeed being automated. But the reason you were hired in the first place, your ability to take that information and decide what it means for your company, your clients, or your community, that part is actually becoming more important. When the boring tasks disappear, we are left with a choice. We can either worry about the empty space they leave behind, or we can use that space to do the things only we can do. You aren't being replaced, you are being upgraded to a director of your own digital tools. Now, you might be wondering, if the technology is so good at processing information, isn't it just a matter of time before it learns the rest? It's a logical question, but there is a fundamental wall that these systems hit, and it's a wall that humans leap over every single day without even thinking about it. That wall is context and responsibility. A digital system can write a legal brief, but it cannot stand in a courtroom and understand the subtle tension in the air or the look in a judge's eyes. It can suggest a medical diagnosis based on millions of data points, but it cannot hold a patient's hand and decide if a specific treatment is right for that person's unique life situation. In the professional world, we are moving toward a human-in-the-loop model. This means that while the machine provides the draft, The human provides the soul and the final yes. Think of it like a master craftsman. A carpenter today uses power tools that their ancestors couldn't imagine, tools that do the heavy, repetitive lifting. But the carpenter is still the one who knows the wood, understands the vision of the house, and ensures that every joint is perfect. Your role is becoming that of the master craftsman. Your value no longer lies in how fast you can type or how much data you can memorize. Your value lies in your taste, your ethics, and your ability to spot a mistake that a machine, which doesn't actually understand anything, might overlook. There is a phrase that has been circulating lately that captures this moment perfectly. Technology won't replace you, but a person using technology might. This shifts the focus from a feeling of helplessness to a feeling of agency. It means that the tools aren't the enemy, they are the new standard. If we look back at the history of the office, there was a time when being a typist was a full-time job. When computers became common, that specific job disappeared. But the people didn't. They became office managers, analysts, and coordinators. They used the time saved by not typing to do higher-level thinking. We are standing at a similar crossroads today. The challenge most of us face is not a lack of intelligence, but a lack of time. We are often so buried in the noise of our work, the emails, the reports, the data entry, that we lose sight of the signal. The signal is the reason your job exists. It's the strategy, the creativity, and the human connection. By allowing these new systems to handle the noise, you finally get the space to focus on the signal. This transition requires a shift in mindset. Instead of asking, how do I protect my current routine, we should be asking, how can I use these tools to amplify my expertise? If you are a teacher, how can this help you personalize lessons for every student? If you are a manager, how can it help you understand your team's needs better? The goal isn't to work harder, it's to work more humanly. To navigate this change, we have to understand a fundamental shift in how work is produced. For decades, most of our time was spent on the creation phase, drafting the email, building the spreadsheet, or writing the initial report. We spent 80% of our time doing the heavy lifting and only 20% refining the final result. Now, that ratio is flipping. The technology is becoming a powerful first draft machine. It can give you a starting point in seconds that used to take hours to build. This means your primary role is shifting from being a creator of raw material to being an editor of high-quality outputs. This might sound like a demotion, but it is actually the opposite. Being an editor requires a higher level of expertise. You need to be able to look at what the system has produced and ask the critical questions. Is this accurate? Does this align with our company values? Is there a subtle error here that could cause problems later? A machine can generate 1,000 ideas, but it cannot know which one is the right one for your specific client at this specific moment. This editorial mindset is what will separate those who thrive from those who struggle. It's no longer about who can work the fastest, it's about who has the best judgment. We are moving away from a world that rewards clerical speed and toward a world that rewards critical thinking. This is why experience, the kind you've gathered over years or decades in your field, is more valuable than ever. You have the eye for quality that the machine simply lacks. In the next scene, we'll look at how this specifically impacts the balance between your professional life and your personal time. As we spend more time interacting with digital systems, a strange thing starts to happen. The value of real human interaction actually goes up. Think about it. In a world where an automated voice can answer your basic questions, the value of a person who truly listens and understands your frustration becomes a luxury. This is what we call the human premium. There are parts of your job that rely on trust, empathy, and shared history. These are things that cannot be coded into an algorithm. A machine can analyze a contract, but it cannot build a relationship with a business partner over a cup of coffee. It can plan a schedule, but it cannot sense when a colleague is having a difficult day and needs a word of encouragement. For those of us in the workforce today, our soft skills, our ability to communicate, collaborate, and lead with empathy are becoming our most stable forms of job security. In the past, these skills were often dismissed as extra, but in the near future, they will be the core. When the technical tasks are handled by software, your ability to navigate the complex social world of your workplace is what makes you indispensable. We are seeing a return to the importance of mentorship and human-to-human teaching. The more the world becomes high-tech, the more people will crave high touch. Your career path might involve becoming the person who bridges the gap between the efficiency of the tools and the needs of the people. This isn't just a shift in work, it's a shift toward more meaningful, people-centered roles. If you feel a bit overwhelmed by the pace of change, here is the good news. You don't need to go back to university or become a computer programmer to stay relevant. The most important skill for the next decade isn't a technical one, it's a psychological one, it's curiosity. In the old world of work, we often learned a trade or a set of tools in our 20s and used them for the rest of our careers. That era of learn once, work forever is ending, but in its place is something much more dynamic. The people who will thrive are those who are willing to play with new tools, to experiment, and to stay teachable. Think of these new systems as a new type of colleague. You don't need to know exactly how their brain works to collaborate with them effectively. You just need to know what questions to ask. This is why staying curious is your best insurance policy. Instead of looking at a new piece of software as a threat, try to look at it as a curious apprentice. What can it help you with? Where does it fail? This shift in perspective turns fear into a project. When you stop trying to beat the technology and start trying to direct it, the anxiety begins to fade. You'll find that many of the things you were worried about are actually just new ways to solve old problems. You are still the one in charge of the why and the what. The technology is just here to help with the how. By staying curious, you ensure that you are always the pilot of the craft, not just a passenger on the journey. As we look toward the next few years, it is helpful to remember that the goal of progress has always been to free us from the mundane. We didn't invent the washing machine because we hated clothes. We invented it because we had better things to do with our time than scrubbing fabric by hand. The shift we are seeing now is simply the next step in that long human story. The most successful people in this new era won't be the ones with the fastest computers, but the ones with the clearest vision. Your years of experience, your understanding of people, and your unique perspective are not obstacles. They are your greatest advantages. The technology can provide the data, but only you can provide the meaning. It can generate a map, but only you can decide where the journey should go. So, if you feel that familiar twinge of worry when you see a new headline, take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you are more than the sum of your tasks. You are a problem solver, a communicator, and a person with a lifetime of context that no algorithm can replicate. The future of work isn't about humans versus machines. It's about humans becoming more of what makes them human, supported by the best tools we've ever built. We are all learning this together, one step at a time. The world is changing, yes, but your place in it is as vital as it has ever been. By focusing on your judgment, your empathy, and your curiosity, you aren't just surviving the change, you are leading it. If you enjoyed this topic and want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. If the video helped you, you can leave a like. If not, you can dislike it. I'll survive. Thanks for watching.